It has been very painful for me reflecting back on my life and realizing how the criticism my parents displayed towards me affected me as a person today and how I show up. I realized that it's not just about what my parents said, but it's about how they said it, and also not only how they said it, but how I perceived it. I suffered a great amount of self-loathing, self-hatred. Those two things may be the same, maybe the same thing in different ways. I realized that I was very critical on myself. I was very critical of myself and of my actions, and that whenever I made a poor decision, I would feel the physiological, physiological stress in my body because of my experience of being abused. Now I realize that it's my responsibility to work together with Jesus to be able to make sure that I don't hand down the trauma that was handed to me to my children. And that is a task in and of itself. So the specific task that I do in order to make sure that I don't pass down the criticism that was handed down to me is whenever I correct my child. A couple things I try to do is, I'm practicing them right now, is I try to hold their hand. I try to look them in the eyes. I try to communicate with them what they are doing right before I communicate with them what they need work on, or what choices and decisions need a little bit adjusting. Does that make sense? Another thing I try to stay away from, and this is just a side note, is I try to stay away from telling them good job, because my children aren't performing for me. I love them. I don't say good job when they do something right, because in their mind, that's going to train them to think, okay, when I do this, Dad says good job. So that means I should probably do that again. But wait a minute, but what about when you don't do that? Does that child still believe that you love them when you're not saying good job? And see how it's kind of setting them up for a false belief system that they have to work for your love. And that is the most dangerous belief system possible, because I believe we were created to be unconditionally loved. So when someone feels like they have to work to be loved, it is an enormous pain that is deeply inside, that is embedded deeply inside our souls, because we were created to be unconditionally loved by our Heavenly Father. So, thank you for taking the time to listen. Hope this helped you out. And please, I pray that you would start practicing the skill that I shared today.